Welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I'm Peter Gross, co-host of the original Wild Kingdom with Marlon Perkins and Jim Fowler. For more than 50 years, Wild Kingdom explored wildlife and our natural world. Tonight's episode, and many others, focus on the timeless value of wildlife conservation. Wild Kingdom played a critical role in changing public attitudes about the importance of animals for the health of our planet and our own quality of life. We challenge viewers to learn about animals and get involved in conservation in their local communities. That call to action resulted in more visits to local zoos, nature preserves, and even observing animals in their natural habitats. And that connection with animals benefits all of us in the Wild Kingdom. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Mutual of Omaha.
Hello, welcome to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Of all the birds in the zoo, none is more delightful and amusing to watch than the penguin. Yet very little is known about these flightless birds, and few people have ever seen them in their real home. Two of the most interesting penguins are the Adelie, about 18 inches high, and the much bigger emperor penguin, about 40 inches high, largest of all penguins. They spend their entire lives right here in Antarctica, a huge white plate of frozen earth and snow clamped to the bottom of the world, nearly twice the size of the United States. I went to Antarctica to observe the Adelies and the emperors in their home, here on Ross Island and the Ross Ice Shelf, just 700 miles from the South Pole. The first stop was the emperor rookery on the sea ice. These birds spend all winter in the deep freeze of Antarctica. To see the emperor penguin early in spring walking with majestic step is an unforgettable experience. This rookery has been their home since they arrived on the ice shelf 8 months ago. These adults came here to lay their eggs and hatch their young in the dark of winter. It's now spring, and the gray downy chicks for the first time are seeing a world of sunlight. They're almost as large as their parents and weigh about 50 pounds. Catching them is easy, but they're quite an armful to carry. Dr. William Slayton of Johns Hopkins University has been catching and studying emperors for several years. As all penguins look alike, the only way to distinguish one from another and study individual behavior is by banding them. The way you do it is to hold the chick's head between your legs firmly but gently. Take it easy, Junior. A Teflon band with an identifying number goes onto his left flipper. The band is made secure. Now the chick's movements and habits can be studied accurately. He's all right. That's probably the fastest he's moved all day. Our next stop, the Adelie Rookery. It's only 8 miles away, but in Antarctica, even short journeys must be done by Navy helicopter. I soon see why. Although it's spring, the sea is still iced over. Across this sea ice, the Adelie penguins make their annual migration from winter feeding grounds to nesting sites on Ross Island. A journey beset by sudden dangers. A leopard seal hides in the thawing ice. He's been spotted. The birds panic. Desperately, they climb to the safety of the land. As they move to their nesting site, I get my first good look at these quaint little birds. Only 18 inches high, they're much smaller than the emperor penguins. The first arrivals are mainly adult males who immediately start gathering stones to build their nests. Their mates will arrive later. There are also a number of young, unattached females looking for mates. These females sometimes move in with a male while he's waiting for last year's mate to arrive. When she does arrive, look out. The neighbors always get involved too. The male usually reunites with last year's mate and starts weaving his head in a strange courtship ritual. Now they will stay permanently paired until the end of the breeding season. Every day sees more new arrivals at the rookery. This unattached male is trying to attract a female. Each male has a nesting area staked out, and he and his mate take turns going to nearby rock piles to gather stones for their nest. With so many look-alikes, it's a wonder the birds can find their own mates. But they always do, adding fresh stones to the nest. The stones will keep the eggs when they're laid high and dry above the level of the melting snow. Patiently, the female, with the male standing guard, waits. Finally, about 3 weeks after arrival, the first egg is laid. Usually a second one is laid a day or so later. The parents now must guard the eggs from the dangers of predators and freezing snowstorms. While the female watches, the male prepares to incubate the eggs. Neither bird has eaten anything since walking 60 miles across the sea ice and arriving here over 4 weeks ago. Inspecting the Adelie rookery with Dr. Slayton, I am once again impressed by the endurance of these amazing little birds. After the Adelie eggs have been laid, the male takes over the nest, incubating the eggs alone, while the female goes off to sea to feed. It's 4 weeks since the females had their last meal. In single file, they hurry towards the distant sea ice. Some walking, others tobogganing. Where the land meets the sea ice, they pause momentarily. Then more and more jump down. Much of the sea ice has melted. Now the females don't have so far to go to open water where they'll feed. At the rookery, males must protect the eggs from their enemy, the skua. These gull-like predators are a constant danger. Mostly it's unattached adults who fight off the skuas. Nesting penguins dare not leave the eggs, whatever the danger. Even when a blizzard starts, they stay on the nest trying to keep the eggs warm. The devotion of these birds for their young in the face of freezing winds and sub-zero temperatures is truly amazing. Blizzards like this cause more casualties among the eggs than attacks by predators. After the storm is over, many of the birds are almost covered by the snow. I inspect the Adelie rookery and find most of them in good condition. But there's one who seems to be in trouble. The bird's alive all right, but the egg's probably frozen. Now to try and save him. Somebody always stops to watch when you start digging a hole, whether it's in Antarctica or in Main Street, USA. Don't bite the hand that frees you. Let's see if he can do it on his own. It's obvious he's really stuck. Another sidewalk supervisor comes to offer free advice. I brush part of the frozen egg off his feet. The egg, of course, is lost. Let's hope his feet haven't been frozen. No, he looks all right. Luckily, the storm wasn't too severe. The rookery seems to be in pretty good shape. Most of the birds are females that have returned from feeding at sea, giving their mates a chance to go and eat. Dr. Sladen has learned about these movements through his banding program. Spotting one that hasn't been banded, he goes into action. Again, the identifying tag is slipped on. Over the last 5 years, Dr. Sladen and his colleagues have banded more than 23,000 penguins. It'll soon be time for the eggs to hatch. Bad weather forced us away from the Adelie rookery. While we were gone, the eggs hatched. I got back in time to see some of the adults returning from feeding at sea. They've crammed their stomachs with food for their chicks, and they race towards the shore. It's midsummer and the sand is visible. When they first came to the rookery, this was all sea ice. Once on shore, many of them pause a moment. Then they hurry off towards the rookery. At the rookery, their hungry chicks are waiting to be fed. Now begins a strange ceremony. While the chick watches, the waiting adult greets its returning mate. This mutual display confirms recognition. The returning mate feeds the chick by regurgitating semi-digested food from its stomach. As the chick grows, the parents take turns, one guarding while the other hunts for food at sea. It's a trying time for both parents, but hungry mouths must be fed. In addition to the adults and chicks, there are other inhabitants in the rookery, the sub-adults. Because of their behavior, early explorers called them hooligan penguins. A teenage hooligan penguin goes to the creche, a place where all the chicks gather for protection, and starts to bully them. As he leaves, two older chicks speed him on his way. Usually it's the weakest and smallest who are picked on by the hooligan penguins. If, like this chick, they let themselves be dragged far from the safety of the creche, they're in real danger. All too often, the hooligans lose interest in the little chick and go off squabbling. They leave the youngster alone and unprotected, vulnerable to attack by the skua. But the biggest threat to the chicks is still the weather. Winds of over 100 miles an hour can suddenly spring up, changing their world into a choking, blinding, freezing chaos. But regardless of wind and weather, the chicks still have to be fed. By now, they're almost as tall as their parents. Their plumage and layers of fat under the skin insulate them from the cold. Only the strong can endure this cruel climate. A month has gone by. The chicks have lost their down and now resemble their parents. This is the last time the parents will feed them. At 9 weeks, they're old enough to fend for themselves. But the chicks keep chasing their reluctant parents, refusing to accept the fact that this is the end. No more feeding. Childhood's over. The parents leave them. Now they're on their own. The chicks, some with baby plumage still clinging to them, must face the danger of attack by the leopard seal as they make their first attempt to go out to sea and feed themselves. These are the older chicks, and among the first to leave. The leopard seal waits and watches. They've never been taught to swim, but instinctively they take to the water. They're clumsy now, but in time they'll swim as gracefully as their parents. But first they must survive the attack of their enemy. The grim drama of the hunted and the hunter unfolds. Most of the chicks survive and go off to feed safely. The sky darkens and the winter storms will soon begin. At the beach, adults prepare to leave for their feeding grounds. They will be joined later by the chicks. They head for the distant pack ice where they'll feed until spring. The last to leave must face stormy waters lashed by the first winds of winter. Finally, the last of the penguins head for the open sea. The first winter winds begin to howl over the deserted rookery. Soon, even the skuas will leave. But they'll be back, and so will the Adelies when spring comes again to Antarctica. Adelies, like humans, face danger for their entire lifetime. Writers have called Antarctica the world's most fascinating icebox. Since the dawn of time, this vast deep freeze has kept its many secrets hidden from the eyes of man. But today, conservationists and scientists like Dr. Sladen, backed by organizations like the National Science Foundation, are beginning to explore this fascinating continent, to learn more about its animal life, to unlock the secrets of its frozen wastes. Knowledge gained from their work may one day benefit all mankind, as well as the creatures that dwell in the wild kingdom.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Like what you saw? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for more exclusive content. And visit our website at wildkingdom.com.